Stop this, Harper. That's my brother.
What? You have a cripple as a brother? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Harper, can you stop it? Stop looking down on him. He's crippled, but not dumb.
The orphan sibling is defending her crippled brother. Ugh, Victor, how can you let her bring a crippled man in here?
It's my freaking wedding, Harper. You don't get to have a say in whatever I do. And Scott is my brother. Stop talking about him in that manner. My wedding day was nearly ruined by my insane sister-in-law. After my parents' death, my crippled brother had relocated to Italy, but I remained here in Canada. I was working as a nurse when I met my husband Victor at the hospital. He was rushed in one day after being involved in a terrible accident. It affected his spine, making him only have a 39% chance of walking again. After 2 weeks, they brought in a therapist to help him with walking. Whenever she wasn't there, I helped him. I wanted him to walk again, no matter what. One day, I was in the middle of his sessions when the door swung open and 2 women walked in. I could tell they were his mom and sister, seeing the resemblance. However, I wasn't pleased by the girl's behavior. She'd rudely brushed me off and hugged her brother, crying. I concluded that she only did that because they hadn't seen him since the accident happened. But after that day, the girl, who I learned was Harper, his sister, got worse. She strangely didn't like me for no reason. I stopped visiting his ward for a while. After a week, I returned. It was at night when his family wasn't present. As I walked in, I saw the joy on his face. I checked him and saw that he'd made progress and could stand on his own and take a few steps. I was so excited. He asked for my name and I told him, before I finally left. The next day, I was told by the doctor that he was requesting my service and had to be assigned to him again. I was happy, knowing that I could take care of him again. When Harper returned and saw me there, she was visibly angry. She called me out and I followed.
Why the hell are you here again?
Your brother wanted it. What's your deal with me?
Well, you're my brother's exact type, and I can't stand him having anything to do with a low-class nurse like you.
Low class? Her brother's type? Before I could speak, she stormed back into his ward. I didn't know what to do. On one hand, I wanted to take care of him, but on the other hand, I didn't want to be looked down on like that. I called my brother and told him about it. He asked me to ignore her and go on with taking care of him if it was what I wanted. I followed his words and ignored Harper's foolishness. After 2 months, Victor was finally able to walk again. On the day he was discharged, he requested my phone number. I was hesitant at first, but when he continued pleading, I had to give it to him. We began talking from there. I couldn't deny that I'd developed feelings for him. Victor was also my type, just as Harper said I was his. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, I didn't hesitate before agreeing. I told my brother about everything, as he was my most trusted confidant. He supported me all through. When Victor proposed marriage, I agreed. My brother couldn't be happier. He'd cried over the phone when I told him about it. I thought about introducing him to Victor. Since he wasn't in the country, we had the introduction over a video call. We spoke at length, and I felt so proud seeing how they spoke like longtime best friends. Although Victor has seen him in a wheelchair, he didn't speak about it until I did. I explained what happened and how it affected us. He sympathized with me and promised to always protect me. I knew I'd found where I belonged, and it was with him. It was soon time to introduce me to his family. My only fear was Harper. His mother wasn't too much of a talker, but she wasn't rude. In fact, she used to get me little appreciation gifts while Victor was still at the hospital. When we got to his house, Harper answered the door.
No way, Victor! What are you doing here with her?
Victor ignored her and took me in with him. Harper followed us to the living room. As I sat with Victor, she stood before us with crossed arms.
Wow, I can't believe this. You really did seduce him because I said you're his type, didn't you?
I didn't seduce your brother. I would never stoop so low for a man, Harper.
Oh, trying to be a saint, I see. Well, let's see how long you can keep that up.
She took her seat opposite us as her parents walked in. It was the first time I was seeing Victor's father. He had a stern look, but he was so nice. They didn't ask us too much. They seemed satisfied to know how we felt about each other. With the introduction done, we proceeded to make wedding plans. But Harper was bent on frustrating me. When I wanted to go shopping for my gown, I'd wanted my cousin to go with me, but Harper told me she wanted to go with me instead. I agreed, hoping we would finally get to bond. Well, we arrived at the shop, and things seemed to be going well at first, until it got to when I began testing the gowns. Harper continuously said they were ugly. I kept changing dresses until I got to the last one. I was exhausted already. I thought it looked perfect on me, and fortunately, so did Harper. She rushed to me and pulled me into a hug. I was shocked for a second, but I hugged her back. Suddenly, and very swiftly, she ripped the gown open from the back. I quickly pushed her off. I checked the dress, and the tear had completely ruined the dress. What have you done?
Isn't it obvious? An orphan and low-class nurse like you should only be in rags, torn rags.
Tears immediately gathered in my eyes as I watched her laugh evilly. She left the shop without me. I couldn't leave the dress after it had been destroyed, so I had to buy it, regardless of how expensive it was. I called my cousin in tears and she came to my rescue. She helped with a better dress and paid for it, even though I told her it was fine.
You need to put that witch in her place soon, darling. She's growing too many wings.
When I got home, I didn't tell Victor about it. He hated how his sister always tried to get on my nerves, so I didn't want them having a fight over me. Anyway, our wedding plan continued to progress. Time flew so fast and the day finally arrived. Harper had wanted to be in my dressing room, but I refused. I didn't trust her one bit. My mother-in-law had also asked me to be careful around her.
I'm aware that Harper dislikes you. I know her more than anyone else. Don't let her close to you today. Trust me, she has plans to cause problems here.
I was surprised when the woman said that, but I took her advice. My female cousins were all around me to ensure my safety. I couldn't believe I was shaken because of Harper. Victor had called me over the phone to ask if I was okay. I told him about my Harper problem. It was then I also told him what had happened with the first wedding dress. Your mom also asked me to be careful to not let her get close to me, but it's what Harper has been trying to do all day. I'm scared. He assured me that I was going to be fine. He also promised to deal with her after the wedding. We were still on our call when I heard noises outside. I quickly rushed out with my cousins, and there, we met Harper with my brother. Even though I was so excited to see him again, I cared more about putting Harper in her place.
Get lost! Crippled people are not allowed here. You're not among us, you hear me? I'll be working for M&M soon, the top fashion brand in Italy and here in Canada. Do you know what that means? It means me and everyone here is better than you. Do get lost.
God, she's so foolish. Stop this, Harper. That's my brother.
What? You have a cripple as a brother? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Harper, can you stop it? Stop looking down on him. He's crippled, but not dumb.
The orphan sibling is defending her crippled brother. Ugh! Victor, how can you let her bring a crippled man in here?
It's my freaking wedding, Harper. You don't get to have a say in whatever I do. And Scott is my brother. Stop talking about him in that manner.
Shut the hell up, Chloe.
No, you shut the hell up. Are you crazy? I've kept quiet all this while, but it doesn't mean I'm stupid. One more word from you and you're gonna hate me.
Do your worst, bitch.
I saw Victor walk toward her with so much anger, but his mom was faster. She landed a resounding slap on her face.
How dare you speak to them that way, Harper? But Mom, they're orphans and he's a disabled asshole. They're clearly only after Victor's money.
This is where I speak, young lady. I'll start by informing you that I'm the owner of M&M, and trust me when I say you won't get to work there or any other fashion brand.
Yes, it was my brother's. After he relocated to Italy, he started a fashion brand. He still managed my father's company while he grew his brand. I was shocked to see how far he'd taken it. He established another company in Italy as my birthday gift last year. I handle it from over here while he also helps me, alongside his trusted employees. I only worked as a nurse to pass time.
Do you think we're poor nobody's brat? My sister owns Tycon Production in Italy. I'm sure you've heard of it. And by sister, I mean Chloe. Aside from Tycon and M&M, we have one more company. Just so you know, she's wealthy enough to take care of you for the rest of your miserable life. She only works as a nurse as a hobby.
I smiled at the shock on her face. Victor knew about my company, but he had no idea about my brothers, so he was also shocked.
If you don't believe me, try reaching out to the company tomorrow to reject your dismissal.
That's what you get for being so evil.
You call them orphans, but I'm glad they know who their real parents are.
Victor, let it slide. Tell me what you mean, Victor, right this minute.
You're adopted, Harper. They knew their parents, you don't. Is it clear now?
I was shocked. She wasn't their child? She was already in tears now, but no one seemed to be shaken. Her face was full of shame and regret. She tried to run, but my brother tripped her and she fell face down, breaking her nose in the process. I screamed in shock when my brother stood up and moved his wheelchair away. He walked over to Harper and squatted.
I am not a crippled man anymore. Stupid. Now get your unfortunate self out of here.
Harper stood up and ran away, her nose bleeding. No one followed her. No one seemed to care. I rushed to my brother. How did it happen?
The doctors suddenly told me I'd improved, placed me on therapy for a year, and here. I came to surprise you with it.
I pulled him into a hug, nearly crying. I hugged him like that for nearly a minute.
That's enough, siblings. We have a wedding to continue.
We all laughed and went back in to finish our preparations. Harper? Who cares about that loser? Absolutely nobody. Our wedding went smoothly, but by the time we got home, we received a call from a hospital. Apparently, Harper had been crying after hearing she was adopted and was about to cross the road when she was knocked down by a bike. From what the doctor said on the phone, she might not be able to walk again. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.